It's Wonder Woman with a mohawk. Enough said. Welcome back to my channel. In today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at DC Multiverse Collectible Bane number 2 out of 4, Wonder Woman. And if you're new around here, please remember to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and leave a comment. So, let's dive right into this review. And we're going to start with the box, and obviously we got Wonder Woman. We got the 2 arms for Bane. We come with her sword. Obviously, it's going to be from the last night on Earth. On the back, we got the illustration, and we got Wonder Woman sporting a mohawk. Very different. I like an alternate version from DC characters in general, so that is pretty cool. Now it looks like, I think that's Donna Troy there, and I know that's Vixen. So if I'm wrong about this character, let me know in the comments down below. But I think it is Donna Troy. But down here, then we got the collect the rest of the cards. So we have the illustration with Bane and Scarecrow, which we already reviewed. We reviewed Omega already, and we are coming up on eventually going to be doing the Batman for the last night on Earth as well, carrying the lantern with Joker's head in it, which I think that is a really nice touch. But on the back, it just indicates number 2 out of 4 for which pieces you're getting. Enough said there. And then eventually we will build Bane, and hopefully we don't have to deal with those QC issues. And here we have Wonder Woman out of the box, and she looks awesome. Very different than our typical Wonder Woman. This one's sporting a mohawk, and yes, she does have a little bit of a ponytail going to the back, so we'll take a look at that. And you can see that, you know, she still has long hair. It's just mohawk style. So the picture here now, it looks like her hair is just growing back in, because even in the comics she don't have any hair on the sides or anything like that. So it looks like her in this version her hair is just growing back ever so slightly, so that's not a big deal there. The cape is made out of this soft rubbery plastic and everything. It's real, has like that weird feel to it, like threads to it. It's really neat. And I'm pretty sure if you want to get it to mold a certain way, you can get the old hot water trick to get it to bend the way you want it and everything. But you can see this is battle torn and everything like that, which is a nice little touch for this figure being in the future. And it's not looking so good for the heroes. And there, this is where the hood is all just folded back down. And then also the thing that did not come with her, which is going to be a separate figure. It's going to get the same figure, except you're going to get the Dr. Fate helmet that's going to go over her head. And I believe that you cannot take that helmet off, but I could be wrong. So there is that. Next, you got the silver gauntlets here, and I think they did a nice touch on that. Nice detail there. Obviously, the tiara for her head looks spot on. Goes all the way around to right here on both sides. Face sculpt, like I said, looks fantastic. I think they did a really good job on that. The rest of her getup and everything, I think they did a pretty good job on her portions. And, you know, hey, nothing wrong with that. The articulation for her shoulder is very limited due to this cape, which is fine. I mean, it's a soft rubber, so I mean, if you really want to get her arm extended out, like about here, you will be able to, but you'll not be able to do a full 360 around like that. But you do get the double hinged elbows right here for both arms, and they do work just fine. So there is that. So there's some really good articulation there. The wrist is on that ball joint that McFarlane likes to do, so you can bend the wrist a little bit. Also at those hinges there. So they did a pretty good job. There's no extra hands for Wonder Woman for this figure. They decided not to do that, which is totally fine. Coming down a little bit more, you do have the ab crunch and everything, so she can ab crunch to about there and then bend back to about here. So where she's standing up, she can bend up. And then also her head can look all the way up to about here and look down like that. And then obviously do a full 360 if you need to break her neck for some reason. which is pretty messed up. The legs can go up to about here. Trying to keep her down, so there's not much there. She can do the splits to about here. That's really pushing the bar there. The rest of her outfit, from the belt and then down to her skirt, overall I like the detail. Has like that blue soft rubbery plastic and everything like that. I think it does a pretty good job. On the sides you still see the stars, and that was just the accessory just to help her stand on both sides. So she's still wearing her same old Wonder Woman gimmick, just a little bit different with the extra belt going around her waist. And I wish this holster here for this weapon, for this dagger, like the handle would have been a different color and this holster would have been different as well. Maybe they would have painted these details right here like a silver color or gold instead, and then made this handle like the same as her sword, which comes into play here, so it would have been gold. So let's just peg her in there for a second. And then you can see the sword here. It's the other accessory she comes with. And the detail here on the sword is looking pretty good. Very Amazonian style they were going for. I mean, it's just pretty much just gold. It's, you know, we'll just call a spade here. And then the rest of the sword is obviously the silver, some molded detail there. But this thing is limpy as anything. So, I mean, if you want to mold it whatever way you want it to, I mean, if you need to straighten it out, so then you can go ahead and do that with a hot water trick. But this thing is not hard plastic whatsoever, besides the handle a little bit. So there is that. And moving right along down to the knees and everything like that, they did a pretty good job with it. You got the double hinge knees, if I can get it. Yep. I mean, they can go a little bit further. This cape is in the way, so she can bend her knees pretty darn impressively. Just gonna say that. So you can still get some pretty good poses and everything like that. The only thing I was just thinking of right now, if they decided to go with a thigh swivel, which they did not, all they had to do was add this little tidbit here onto the other thigh, and then they could have added in thigh swivel right here, and you would have gotten more articulated posing and everything like that. You won't be on this limit right here, but the double hinge knee does help. Going down through the boot, down to the ankle, this red in the ball joint right here is a different red than the actual shoe part, than the upper of her shin guard right here slash boot. So she's wearing these long ass boots, but in the middle, that red ball joint right there is a completely different red. So I'm really like, really? You know, that just didn't make any sense, but hey, that's what they had to work with and everything. And obviously you get the toe articulation, so you do have that. And then obviously you can, let's see, angle her feet whichever way you would prefer for that. So there are the feet. And here I have one of these other cards. I just wanted to go over it real quick, see if we get any cool information about Wonder Woman from the Last Night on Earth. So, real name Diana Prince, everybody knows that. Height 6 foot, weight 165 pounds. Okay, the world has been destroyed, the superheroes lost, and a new evil by the name of Omega has taken over what's left. Now, 20 years in the future, Wonder Woman leads a faction of heroes and survivors living underground known as the New Amazons. Hiding from the world above in order to stay alive, Diana and her band of warriors must choose between retreating deeper beneath the Earth's surface or fighting for a better tomorrow. Interesting. But overall, the card is very cool. It's so far my least favorite of the three. And we'll have to wait to take a look at the Batman one a little bit up closer, and we'll find out if we get any more information. So the other thing I wanted to point out, so overall, the Wonder Woman, the sheath for her sword, so overall it's pretty cool, except you can see the sword from this side because there's a big gap from up here all the way down, which makes absolutely no sense. I do not understand that. So they pretty much ran out of money for their budget for this figure, and that's where they cheaped out a little bit. I think the quality that they give, I think they could have added, you know, what, a couple dollars, even less, into their cost to make these, to fine tune them just a little bit more. But overall, I think it's not terrible. So there's a lot of positive things about this. There's a couple things about it as well. So let's get to the end of this and see what my final thoughts are. So overall, the mohawk I actually like. I think that's pretty cool. The cape for the figure has that odd kind of texture, but it's pretty cool as well. I don't have any gripes about it. The battle damage to it as well is a nice extra touch. The silver gauntlets look a nice addition to it with the molded detail. The overall classic look for her get-up that she always wears, with the tiara down to everything else that she wears, down to the skirt, is accurate Wonder Woman, to my opinion. I mean, everyone's going to have an extra different opinion on that probably, but I have no issue with it. The boots overall are very long, up to her knees. That's fine. The battle damage on the knee guards itself are pretty cool. Nice little touch. The only thing I don't like is the ball joint part for the ankle to the foot. It's a different red. That makes no sense, but considering they are on a budget, hey, we got to work with what they got to work with. But the sheath, though, I don't like at all. I think that's like the only real big negative thing for this figure, other than it can't stand properly on its own very well, other than with the stand, of course. It definitely gives the assist. So it's a nice touch. They do give us that if they really need to. And the only other gripe I have is Wonder Woman's left hand is closed in a fist, which is totally fine for fighting and everything, but it limits your posing to what you can do. I would have preferred an extra set of hands for her, two open, two closed, so now she can hold the sword with two hands versus just in one. And then obviously if you just want to put the sword in the sheath and have two closed fists, then that would have been fine too. To give us more options of displaying purposes, of course. So there is that. But overall, the other thing is, like I said earlier, if they would have added one more of these over here on our other thigh, then they would have been able to do the thigh swivel, and it gave us a lot more articulation right there and better ability to pose and everything like that. But overall, I think it's not a terrible figure. I think it's a nice addition to the Wonder Woman figure line, just in general. I think it's a nice addition to the Knights on Earth. And I think that's obviously all the positive things I can think of, all the negative things I can think of, and I'm glad overall this figure has done really well in the positive category versus the negative category. So overall, this figure is pretty badass, and if you're able to pick her up, I would definitely recommend it. And if not, there's another version of her going to be coming out for the Build the Darkfather. So if you're interested more in that one, then go for that one, because I think that one's pretty cool too, but I don't own it yet. And obviously, the other thing that comes with her is the build of, collect the build Bane, and he comes with the two arms. So just wanted to add this in just to say, hey, we will be taking a look at this at another time. So that's going to be it for the review. So thank you for watching, and what are your thoughts on this figure? Has this been as good as I've got to review it, or is there other good positive things I have missed, or are there more bad things? Let me know. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.